What's good, people? The Alyork Sports Show coming at y'all live from Vegas. I'm outside in beautiful Las Vegas. The weather started to improve a little bit. It was freezing the last couple of days, but we're starting to hit 50s again. And hopefully the weather come back. Now, not too hot, though. Not too hot. Let me start off by saying salute to the East Coast, West Coast. Vegas strong, Vegas nice, LES to the death. And before I start the Wild Card Weekend conversation, everybody who's inboxing me about the pickup show, as of right now, we went our separate ways, and that's the best way to put it. And right now, he's doing him, I'm doing me, and that's where we're gonna leave it at, man. I'm gonna leave it as professional as possible. That's how I'm gonna leave it. And that's it. We moving on. Now let's go to the Wild Card Weekend. Whoa, what 4 games we had right now? Let's start with the Indianapolis Colts 10-6 at the 11-4 Houston Texans in a game that the Colts completely dominated. Up 14-zip out the gate, 21-zip at halftime. Deshaun Watson could never get it going. The Colts defense had them all fucked up. And, Frank Reich called a hell of a game, man. Frank Reich is a hell of a coach. He's got a hell of a team. Defensively, they stepping up. Offensively, they stepping up. T.Y. Hilton, Mack, Andrew Luck and company are doing their thing, man. And they dominate that division, as you can see still, as they beat out the Titans for the last spot. Then they crushed the Texans in the playoffs. The Colts are still the team of that division and the team to beat in that division. And they go into Arrowhead Stadium. They won 21-7. They laid down the second half. They just wanted to go to Arrowhead. They was up 21-zip. They played defense and ran the ball. Played defense, ran the ball. Lost the second half, but so fucking what? They won 21-7 in a convincing fashion. Houston was -2 going into the game. I gave out the Colts on that game to certain people, but I didn't give it out of my video. But I like the Colts on a teaser. I like them on a teaser. I can't lie. I like them +9. I didn't take them -2 or +2, and they ended up covering that +9. They ended up winning outright by 14 points. Let me give you some numbers. Luck was 19 for 32, 222, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Mack 24 rushes, 148 yards. T.Y. Hilton 5 for 85 yards receiving. As far as the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson 29 for 49, 235, 1 pick, 1 interception, threw too many passes. When they were behind the game, they couldn't run blue, they couldn't run, etc. DeJuan Watson himself rushed for 8 for 78 yards, and he passed to Kiki Coty. He had 11 receptions for 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Hopkins was hurt. Receiver Hopkins was hurt. He was limping the whole game. He had bad shoulder, bad leg. Salute to Hopkins for thugging it out. But Texans got to do something. They got to get rid of Coach O'Brien. Either O'Brien or change their quarterback. But I think you got to go get rid of O'Brien. Their defense is getting older. J.J. Watts is going in another year older. You got Merciless and Clowney, who's still very much young. But them guys, they have to kind of win now or maybe next year, because their window is not that big, man. Their window is real small, although their quarterback is very young. Let me go to the next game. We go on to the $1 billion playpen in Irving, Texas, AT&T Stadium, where the 10-6 Seahawks played at the 10-6 Cowboys. I gave out the Cowboys at a money line, not -2, not -2.5, money line. And lucky I did, because they won by 2. Seattle had a backdoor cover. They came and scored on the last touchdown, and that messed up a lot of people's money, but I gave it money line. It was a well-played game on both sides. Dallas clicked on all cylinders. Prescott threw for 2 and change. Had a great game. Ezekiel Elliott ran for a $130+. Amari Cooper had 100+ yards. So they big 3 stepped up. And as far as the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson passed for 18 for 27, 233, 1 touchdown. Penny ran for 4 for 29. Carson was completely shot by that defense. Tyler Lockett 4 for 120. And all I can say, that Dallas defense is for real, man. With Crawford, Lawrence, Gregory, Van Den Besch, them guys are real good. And when they go to L.A. next week, it ain't going to be a walkover for the Rams. I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys will play them. It all depends if Ezekiel can get 100 and if Prescott can get time, if they can win that game. But if that doesn't happen, the Rams will find a way to win. Now let me go to our third game today. The 12-4 LA Chargers at 10-6 Baltimore Ravens. Ravens just coming off busting their ass 2 weeks ago, 22-10. They outplayed them in every phase of the game, and the Chargers repeated the favor today. Did everything opposite of that game, And the Ravens did everything opposite. Now, I got beef with Jim Harbaugh because Lamar Jackson had a horrible first half, horrible game until the fourth quarter. He had a huge fourth quarter. But when you're down 14-zip, 21, whatever, 21-3 or 23-3, you're supposed to bring in Joe Flacco, man. He's a proven quarterback. He's won a chip. I understand Lamar Jackson was 7-1. I understand Lamar Jackson got you there. I understand he should have been 8-0. I understand he's been doing everything he's supposed to do. But they stopped what you do best, which is the running game. They put 9 on the box, and they just totally took the running game out. Once they did that, you're supposed to insert Joe Flacco and give your team the best chance of winning. Now, you left him in the third quarter. He did absolutely nothing. That's when the lead blossomed to 23-3. Then you left him in. You're lucky, Harbaugh, that he did anything on that fourth quarter because Lamar almost brought him back. So that makes you look good and leaving him in the game. But all us aficionados know that you should have took him out of half. Flacco would have gave you a great chance because Flacco would have definitely put some points up in the third quarter. I think he would at least put 7 up. And that would have gave you the ability to steal the game late. When Lamar made that move, it was too late. It was 23-3. Y'all needed everything perfect to happen, which it did. 3-and-out, touchdown. 3-and-out, touchdown. But then you got the ball back with only like 45 seconds, no timeouts. Too much to expect from Lamar Jackson, and that's why you guys came up short. So let me give up some numbers here. Phillip Rivers went 22 for 32, 160. He quarterbacked what you call. He managed the game perfectly. He didn't do too much. He didn't do too little. He never turned the ball over. Salute to Phillip Rivers on a great game. Now, Melvin Gordon had 17 rushes, 40 yards. There was a tough 40 yards. He had a touchdown, too, on a fourth down play. Overall, Gordon had a great game, not statistically, but overall. And Mike Williams had 2 receptions for 42. So, as you can see, the Chargers didn't light it up on offense. There was fumbles, in the red zone, etc., turnovers, and a bunch of field goals. And as for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson's numbers are very deceiving. 14 for 29, 194, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. All of this basically happened in the fourth quarter. Because at one time he was 2 for 9 for like 30 yards deep in the third quarter. And he ended up for 14 for 29, 194. A lot of that was pickup yardage, pickup touchdowns late in the game, prevent defense type of defenses, and that's how he stacked his numbers up. He also rushed for 9 for 54, and Dixon had 3 receptions for 53. So offensively, they were horrible. Last but not least, Soldier Field. The Philadelphia Eagles and Nick Foles pull it off again. 9-7 champions versus the 12-4 Bears. I mean, Bears, to me, was supposed to win this game. I gave them on a teaser +1 with the Chargers +10, so it pushed. So that ticket canceled out, which means like a no play. So at least that happened, but I expected the Bears to win. I think they should have won. I mean, the kid Parkey did miss the field goal, but I don't think it should have got to that point. There was a lot of analysts saying that they should have stopped the Eagles on the last drive, which I agree. But at the end of the day, they still only gave up 16 points, and they averaged 17 points a game. So if you told me going into the game they were giving up 16 points, I probably would have put a couple of grand easily on the Bears that they would have won that game. Like something like 24-16, 20-16 at least. But they didn't get the stop when they was up 15-10. I understand that. But Mitchell Trubisky brought them all the way downfield, got them to like the 25-30. Parkey had and I told my boy too in the book, I told this guy named Matty Ice, I said, you see that one timeout left? This is a kicker that's been having issues. They're going to use it right before he kicks it to fuck with his head. And that's exactly what Peterson did. Parkey hit the pre-kick, which didn't count because the timeout was called, was right down the middle. And guess what happened? They played with his head. It was in his head. I seen him. He was practicing the kick again. A lot was going on in his head. They got to his head. Now, I understand they hit the goalpost, and y'all might go, yeah, but if you went to say he still hit the goalpost, it don't matter. Look at the prior kick. It was right down the center. The next one was like wobbly, like a goose. It hit the goalpost, it hit the bottom, and then it jumped out. And they ended up losing 16-15 in a heartbreak game for the Chicago Bears that should have won this game. And salute to Nick Foles. What else does Nick Foles have to do to take over this job? I understand Carson Wentz, high draft pick. I understand he had an MVP year last year till he got hurt. But Nick Foles got y'all the championship. I mean, I know he looked bad in a couple games, but when it was crunch time, he prevailed every fucking time. He won every game in the playoffs, including the chip against the Patriots, and he went in a tough atmosphere in Soldier Field and one of the hottest teams in football and defenses, and had a last-minute drive, touchdown conversion to beat the Chicago Bears. Nick Foles for president. He should be the motherfucking quarterback over there. I think this solidifies his spot. I think they should look to trade Carson Wentz for a number one. I know y'all like, yo, Al, you bugging. Man, fuck that. Foles is the dude. You do not need Foles and Wentz. Y'all lacking, like, maybe I would say some cornerbacks, maybe another running back, because you don't know what you're getting out of Jahi. Smallwood is not bringing it enough. Y'all can get a number one pick and use that for a running back and let Nick Foles, let him take over the helm and let him lead y'all to victory like he's been doing. Nick Foles for president. Great weekend of football, wild card weekend. Alyork Sports. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to get back to y'all with the free picks on Friday. And, oh yeah, tomorrow's game, Alabama's 5.5. And the over's 56.5. If I had a gun to my head, I either do two things. I'll tease Bama down, even though I said Clemson will win it all. I said that earlier in the year, or matter of fact, maybe like a month ago. But I'm not sold on Lawrence, that quarterback, man. I'm not sold on Lawrence. I think they're going to put pressure on him. I think he's going to fold. I like Bama to win the game now. I don't mean to change my pick, but I'm being realistic. After I seen them last two games that both played, I think Bama will win tomorrow, and I think it'll go under. So if I had a gun in my head, I'll tease Bama and tease it up to 64 and go under. If I had a gun in my head. Salute to y'all. Good luck. Do what y'all got to do. I'll get to y'all definitely before Friday or on Friday for the other playoff games in NFL, and I'm going to give y'all the free picks, etc. Thanks for tuning in. It's late night. I have to get this video in today because tomorrow I'm going to be busy. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it tomorrow. So there go your post-game show from Alyork Sports. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.